Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. Now, this guy, Bluestreak here, should have been posted yesterday instead of the Autobot Alliance, but we had a little problem here on the technical side. My laptop decided to crash its operating system, and while I was able to get the laptop repaired into functional status, it unfortunately had to have the memory wiped. So, thankfully I didn't have Ironhide and Prowl saved yet in there, so they were still in my camera, so I could post them so you didn't miss a video this week. But this is how we're going to conclude the Earthrise month, even though we're a day late and $1 short. So here we have Bluestreak. And of course, before we get too far into it, want to give a good shout out to Kimberly for sending this figure to me. Her and her family are fans of the channel, and I do thank you for sending this figure to me, because I couldn't seem to find him. Bluestreak was the exclusive for Walgreens this year. Why they chose Bluestreak over a more medically minded Transformer is beyond me, but whatevers. It still gives us an exclusive, although for many of you who may have remembered last year, this one over here, the Siege version of Bluestreak, was also an exclusive. He was an exclusive to Walmart stores, and he came out just before Christmas. So that pretty much meant you had to scramble if you wanted to get him to be under your tree. At any rate, we'll look at him a little bit better a little later in the video. Because, of course, like we always do here on this channel, whenever possible, want to compare him to his Generation 1 version. As you can see, the new version is somewhat taller than the original, and doesn't have the ridiculously oversized rocket launchers. But more or less, the design layout is pretty much the same as it is on the original toy. The only major difference, of course, is being this black paint that they've applied to the hood of the car, which was lacking on the Generation 1 original. But of course, the original toy of Bluestreak, when he was sold in Japan, was in fact molded in blue. So why they changed him to gray and still kept calling him Bluestreak is beyond me, and it's kind of gotten lost in time from Hasbro. At any rate, let's get old Bluestreak out of the way. And we'll take a look here at the articulation for new Bluestreak. The head can be turned from side to side. It is a little difficult to do with the guns in the way. The head also does rock up and down just a little bit. The arms can be raised up, probably a little bit further. Let's take this gun out of here. Yep, the arms can raise up about so far. And the arms do rotate at the shoulder all the way around, especially if you move the car door out of the way. He can bend his arm at the elbow just a little bit above 90 degrees. And he does have a swivel at the bicep, so he does come complete with G.I. Joe's battle grip. He can be twisted here at the hips. You can spread his legs apart into a full splits. You can also turn him at the thigh. You can raise his leg at the hip over 90 degrees, and you can bend him at the knee over 90 degrees. So, Bluestreak here does have quite a range of motion. Now, of course, we'll take a look at his accessories. We'll start with the small guns. As you can see here, it's a rather tiny gun. I just dropped it on the floor. Darn butterfingers. Oh, so pardon me if I sound a little strange. I got my COVID vaccination yesterday. And I also spent half the night shivering, so I seem to be better now, but if I do sound a little weird, we'll blame it on the vaccine. Yeah, Bluestreak comes with 2 of these, because he has the other one right here. And again, we just threw it on the floor. For no reason, really. And then lastly, of course, is Bluestreak's gun. And this one, unlike the Siege version, is intended to invoke thoughts of the original gun, which I have right here. And as you can see, it does borrow a few design elements from the original gun. Of course, you do have some options with the gun. If you don't want to have Bluestreak carry it in his hand, there are posts on the sides, so Bluestreak can mount it to his backside, leaving him free to carry other weapons. Or if you want to, you can combine the smaller guns onto the larger gun, and then you have some sort of super gun. And of course, that's how it looks there in his hands. That, of course, was not an option that could be done on the Siege gun due to the way it was built. The Siege version's short guns could be combined together to form a single gun. We'll stand these two here side by side so you can kind of see how similar they look. And while they are very similar, they are also rather different from each other. The transformation method between the two is slightly different, which you'll find out here in just a moment. Bluestreak, of course, was one of the original Transformer toys since he came out originally in 1984. Bluestreak functioned as a gunner for the Autobots and was one of the first characters to be depicted as suffering from post-traumatic stress, as Bluestreak witnessed the Decepticons destroying his hometown on Cybertron. Seeing this violent action is what led him to enlist with the Autobots, and his stress disorder manifests itself in the form of the fact that he is a constant talker. He will constantly ramble on about anything, much to the annoyance of a few of his allies. Okay, before we transform Bluestreak, I do want to point something out to everybody before we forget about it. And that, of course, is this windshield piece here on his backside. The windshield piece is made of very thin plastic. And according to a few other Transformer reviewers, Rodimus Primal in particular, this does break relatively easily. So it is something you will want to pay attention to when you're handling your Bluestreak, as, again, with him being an exclusive, if that breaks, you're not going to have an easy time replacing him. Okay, to transform Bluestreak, we start by bringing his arms up at the sides, like so, where the wheels meet the shoulder, and then you're going to rotate them so the wheels face upwards like that. And we're going to come down here to his hips, and we're going to rotate them around 180 degrees. We'll reach inside here and we're going to fold down these red flaps. And as you saw, we did something similar with Prowl the other day. So these will pop free relatively easily as well. On mine here, they're pretty snug, so I guess I got lucky on that one. And once you've done that, of course, we will fasten the legs together. And then we come up here to the chest, and we're going to fold up his entire upper body. There's a piece of plastic here. We will fold that out so it'll close up and form the hood of the car. It should snap into place just like that. We're going to come back down here to his legs, and we're going to fold in these red pieces. Because we're going to try to fold in the legs. And then get the body to fold downwards. This is always a chore and a half here, folks. Just be gentle with it. Don't try to rush it. Just got to get them in far enough that they will bend. Unfortunately, when Hasbro made them, they don't give you a whole lot of clearance. Here, if I fold this back down, keep it down and out of the way, maybe it'll fold up. Yeah, it's trying. It's trying. Hold on a second. Okay, that was the problem there. The red flaps stay up. Then he should fold in. I should have remembered that. Like I said, I'm not totally on my game thanks to that COVID vaccine, but hey, I want to go to RoboCon here in June, so if I want to go to RoboCon, got to be vaccinated. Okay, once we get him folded up like that, they want you to turn the head so it faces the interior for some reason. The hood of the roof of the car should connect here to the legs. Then they'll have you fold the arms down like so, and then you just bend them at the shoulders. And then for the final step, you close the doors. And then there you have it. Bluestreak is transformed into a rather generic looking sporty car. Just the camera here. Unlike the original Bluestreak, who was made to resemble a Datsun Fairlady Turbo with a T-top. Of course, unlike the original, you can customize this one a little bit by adding all of his guns, and you have him in full attack mode. Of course, how well does Bluestreak roll on these plastic wheels? Rolls pretty good. We'll set this one aside for a moment and let you have a look at him next to the Siege version, so you can see that the car mode, while intending to invoke similar styling of the Siege version, it is intended to be a different vehicle. So now we get down to my thoughts. What do I think of Bluestreak? Well, Bluestreak is one of the more interesting characters, especially since, again, he was one that was made to be suffering an early form of PTSD. So it kind of brought that into the media for us back in the 1980s. Unfortunately, since the toys don't include any bios or anything this time around, a lot of that lore is getting lost to the newer fans. And I really wish Hasbro wouldn't do that. Another thing that I really wish they wouldn't do is making the same characters be exclusives. Yes, Bluestreak is an interesting character, but does he deserve to be an exclusive 2 years in a row? No, not by a long shot. Not by a long shot, and especially given the fact that the COVID pandemic made things a lot harder to get. There are going to be some fans of Bluestreak that are going to miss out on this toy due to the fact that it is very scarce to find. But if you manage to find one and you can overlook the small hurdles on him, especially the rather thin windshield on him, then it is definitely a worthy addition to your collection. He does resemble his Generation 1 version rather well for being a vehicle that's kind of imaginary instead of a real one. But he doesn't look that far out of place with many of the other toys. At any rate, that concludes my review of the Earthrise version of Bluestreak. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please leave me a thumbs up here on YouTube. If you're new to my channel, I'd like you to hit that subscribe button and join our ranks. Make sure you ring the bell so you'll be notified when new content goes up. We also ask that you share this video with your friends and fellow collectors. That will certainly help the channel grow. And also to share your thoughts about Bluestreak in the comments down below. Now, aside from the next video that will be going up tomorrow, most of the rest of May will be focusing on the second wave of the Kingdom figures. So, I hope everybody's looking forward to that, since second wave does have some interesting characters. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.